0.36 cubed divided by the standard rate of fluid flow, and then you multiply by, is it 30 or, oh, hello.
Look at the state of this poor fool. They just left her bleeding out? Exsanguination is an art. Where's the precision, the pride in their work? This is just embarrassing.
There's a cultist behind you. Wait, surely she isn't with you. Fine. Just please keep her away from me. Architect's mercy, thank you. It is so much easier to be polite when I needn't fear all of my bones sliding out of my body. Oh, dear Archivist Clemens has been so strange lately. So distant, so agitated. And not his normal agitation, mind you. This is something different. Much worse. He's deeper in the facility, working on something he deemed to be of the utmost importance. Either he is still below, continuing said work, or he is quite dead. And with all those cultists gallivanting about, I don't fancy his odds.
Please, with the way my so-called brethren are comporting themselves, he's more likely to die of boredom. If I was in charge here, all of you'd be dead. He soon will be.
Yes. I'm sure you'll kill them quite well. The crazed people like your friend here have been sowing destruction throughout the range for days. I've seen few firsthand, but that isn't because they've gone. Rather, I believe they have become visibility deficient. Oh, there's no such thing as invisibility. I can only theorize that their visual forms were sent out of phase when they haphazardly tampered with pressurized N-rays.
Their actions are inexcusable. Science allows us to unveil the wonder of the rifts. We do not disrespect it. Now, is there any science around here we can use to find and kill them?
It's a shame the facility is in shambles. We have an N-ray scanner device that may render the cultists far easier for one to locate. The scanner is an optical device designed to detect electrical signals and the N-rays given off by all living beings. Visible or not, the cultists still give off N-rays. It was stored nearby. But with the damage to the facility, you'll likely need to use the maintenance vent on the wall there behind the screen to get anywhere near it. I appreciate your aid. I'm going to wait here and try to prevent my wounds from reopening.
You there, you must leave. Is that a cultist with you?
Don't worry. I'm not like these idiots running around here haplessly. If I was here to kill you, it would be no random thing. You'd know it. Are we here to kill this guy, Commander?
You're here to stop me. But if I'm stopped, the consequences will be exponential. Oh, I don't expect people like you or Augustine to understand. My work is humane and must be finished. All else is secondary. You must remove yourself from the range. I don't want your blood on my hands, but I will spill it if you force me. No, don't you understand? If my work is forestalled in any way, so many more will suffer. And I am already much too far behind. I have been forced to enact measures for self-defense in the wake of these cultists. They will serve just as effectively against you. I beg you, leave immediately. Remain, and you will assuredly suffer a violent demise.
Victor, I fully understand the importance of your work. This is exactly why I push you so. Your moral justifications for delaying your delivery are misguided. Dead is dead. What matter is it if their ends come in 1 minute or 3? If you seek to be humane in your duties, fine. So long as I get the explosives in time. But if we fail to act, the order will be lost forever. Collateral damage was always inevitable, Victor. You knew this. And the longer you take in your laboratory, the greater your risk of being caught becomes. If that happens, you know what must be done. But I should remind you that such a failure will result in vastly more suffering for all parties involved. We need those explosives now, Victor. Let's finish this.
Oh, thank you very, very much for dealing with those cult... it seems you missed one.
What? Where? I thought we dispatched with all of those traitorous charlatans.
I can see it would be best for me to tactically overlook your comrade. Very well. I see you possess our N-ray scanner. Ooh, ingenious device. If I'd had it, I may have evaded being trapped here. Oh, I shouldn't have had to worry. Damn that Victor and damn his hubris. Fitting that his experiment would cause so much strife, that he would be untouched by the ensuing pandemonium. Pardon my excitement. It's been an eventful day. I don't know the specifics, only that Victor was performing a procedure utilizing processed N-rays. When those cultists flooded the range, they damaged the N-ray canisters. In the ensuing chaos, Victor's experiment was destroyed. I know some cultists were killed, but many more still live, moving unseen through the range. Because he refused to follow procedure. He didn't take an assistant or allow anyone to see his data, and now it's all consigned to oblivion. What a waste. There's no such thing as invisibility. The cultists are out of phase. Also, I strongly recommend against exposing yourself to processed N-rays. Most of the cultists died immediately upon exposure, and according to past experiments, those that haven't are experiencing accelerated organ liquefaction. But if you're not attached to the solid state of your organs, I suppose it might be nice to be less visible for a few hours. Although it requires further investigation and experimentation, out of phase refers to a shift in the dimensional presence of these cultists. They are physically here, but only partially, hence their unseen state. It's fascinating. But the outstanding fear for my life has made it difficult to think scientifically. Oh, believe me, this is more excitement than I ever wanted. I shall.
I never wanted this situation to escalate like this. You must understand. But now, all that I wanted is cast to the wind. There is but one option left to me. To save Arcadia, to ensure the future, we must both die. I was warned that you would attempt to. You would use subterfuge to sway me. I cannot allow this. I cannot allow our efforts to be in vain. If DeVries does not receive my explosive, she will resort to a violent assault. Many will die, pointlessly, and in agony. I can at least deliver them an instant, painless death. I thought this explosive vest would be an unnecessary precaution. All I can hope is that by blasting us both from the field of play, the Order shall find its way to truth. Want has nothing to do with it. I have very specific instructions on how to proceed in the face of contingencies such as yourself. And you cannot possibly understand whether I am or am not capable of martyrdom. You do not know my depth of character. At the end of all things, my decisions were predestined. I am not at liberty to divulge the reasoning behind my actions. You're not with the Order. You cannot understand why this would be. Could I explain, the words would be lost on you. Your verbiage does not conceal the gaps in your knowledge. But the presiding bishop has taught us that ignorance is not a punishable sin. If the Order is not prevented from reaching its true potential and solves the universal equation, all scientific uncertainty and any associated suffering will end. If what you say is true, then you have my tentative thanks. However, scientific certainty would absolutely have prevented that from happening. We would have predicted it. DeVries opened my eyes. The Order is on the path to absolute truth. And if they are not interrupted, this truth can be pursued. The one right path for humanity revealed to us. Politics cannot bind us. Uncertainty cannot strangle. And no one can be allowed to waltz in and hurl our plans into disarray. What? How do you not understand the present situation? What coward would strap an explosive device to himself? No, that's not all this. Helping DeVries, completing the work on my explosives is important. It matters. DeVries agrees. Augustine couldn't have done such a thing. She was on a secret mission at the time. I don't wish to believe you, but what you're saying has the ring of truth to it. I've been a fool going along with this farce. But it stops now. My relationship with Augustine is at an end.
This poor fool seemed intent on doing himself and us both. Impressive work convincing him otherwise. Let's say I have a go at him with my disemboweling knife. See what he knows.
Now hold on. Victor's not the first to be taken in by DeVries' cunning. It feels wrong to punish him for it. I doubt he's got any more secrets to tell anyway.
Your loss. Don't like to boast, but I am quite the artiste with a knife.
I believe that's another thanks I owe you. You certainly keep interesting company. I found a way to, via the use of processed N-rays, send objects out of phase. It was inconsistent, but I was close to isolating the procedure. DeVries needed explosives for her plan. By making them unseen, the explosives could be placed as efficiently as possible. No one would be maimed or injured, just killed. Saying that out loud now, it sounds unreal. But somehow, I convinced myself that leaving no survivors was more humane. It's a shame I can't speak to a vicar. I appreciate your consideration. Things could have been very different had your cooler head not prevailed. Here, it is the key to my quarters. Take whatever you find. That will ensure that I cannot use any of it to further DeVries' aims, even if I wanted to. You've certainly convinced me I cannot remain here. May we meet again, when the paths of our lives are at greater apexes.
My fellow Loyalists, it is time. Due to the Earth Directorate operatives' continued meddling, we must increment our timetable by a factor of hours, not days. Accordingly, our forces have taken over the monastery. Those I predetermined to be resilient to reason have been executed. The rest should not cause us trouble. I have locked the lift to prevent the agent from reaching the monastery, but the following code will grant you access. 34145. I will continue my work from here, supplying Augustine with everything she needs for our plan to succeed, and delaying the agent as I'm able to. May the results of our actions today secure a more prosperous tomorrow for our sacred order.
Boy, damn it! We've killed every traitor in this place, but their treasonous scum of a hierarch wasn't among them. The leader of a cell. In this case, that would be Ziegler. and extinguishing him is obviously our next priority. They were operating under his orders. But since he wasn't here to lead them in person, they would have maintained regular contact using one of our communication devices. We should return to the one we saw earlier. It will hopefully yield some worthwhile information. This is it, the Dawn's communication device. Let's see what I can find on it. Not much, but there are a few encrypted messages from Ziegler reporting on a rift in Paradise Island he was sent to study. Idiot didn't even have enough respect to stay to kill me himself. Well, it's of no consequence. Now that I know where he is, let's go show him the error of his ways. I'm right behind you, but not in a threatening way.
Greetings. This unit is unable to fulfill its programming. Are you able to assist this unit in its assigned duties? This unit is unable to execute its programming due to tampering. Navigational and other systems have been compromised. This unit is now being used as a target, which is not among its designated functions. This unit must return to Matriarch's Mercy to dispense medical care in order to fulfill its programming. This unit is not programmed to respond to order prognostication. It is not a medical specialist. It is a specialized tool of medicine. Farewell, potential qualified engineer. Navigation systems re-initializing. Processing optimal path toward Matriarch's Mercy. Return sequence will be initiated once path is determined. Clarification of purpose confirmed. This unit will arrive at its destination with 0.02% higher efficiency. Thank you, qualified engineer.
So you did come. Good. I'm not partial to working with those given to second thoughts. It seems we arrive on a desolate scene. I don't know what transpired, but whatever it was killed the refugees to a person. As an Arbiter, I bear a strong stomach. But if you've any reservations about witnessing destruction visited upon the innocent, you'd best steel yourself. I've some theories on the refugees' killers, but I remain unsatisfied. Although I am not required to do so as an Arbiter, I would care to acquire proof. We operate under the Sovereign's indefatigable will, thus we do not need proof. But my training was somewhat unique in that it emphasized the value of thorough investigation. Let us comb the remnants of this charnel house. I cannot help but feel a pang for these people, cut down without a hope of defense. We must uncover what transpired here. You've been busy. What did you find? I doubt it factored in their inadequacy in the face of a superior force, assuming there was a superior force. The distinct lack of automechanical corpses around us supports your point. It seems the defenders did not defend. Did you have anything else? That automechanicals would fall in the camp's defense is logical. That there would only be one is not. Did you notice anything interesting about it? Then it was fighting blind. Doesn't seem like something a defensive automech should be doing. You're certain you've combed the place to your liking? Very well. I shall continue to search on my own. Salutations. Has your search uncovered anything of remark? As an apprentice, I was taught to see investigations through to their completion. Evidence begets evidence and can lead one to uncover further criminal elements. Any further interest is purely academic. Let's hear it. An encampment such as this normally would possess no means for long-band communications. Was there anything remarkable about it? Good observation. Suffice it to say, the Protectorate would not take kindly to such a theft. Did you have anything else? The fact that this camp isn't a bullet-strewn ruin suggests it was wiped out by something precise, or at least not as destructive as traditional weapons of war. Did you learn anything by examining the body? Interesting. Dragoon automechs wield shock cannons, and the refugees may have had some for defensive purposes. You're certain you've combed the place to your liking? Then let us debrief and see if we can deduce what transpired here. Have you any theories as to what killed these people? A good first observation, and one I concur with. Too little damage, no signs of traditional firearms. Have any theories about the automechs that did this? My thoughts exactly. How do you believe they were compromised? I may have a strong theory, but I do not have a definitive answer. Indulge me. How do you think the mechanicals were corrupted? It's too convenient. I submit that the refugees predominantly used the local shortwave tower to control their automechs. The saboteur commandeered it and sent out an override. The only remaining puzzle piece is why. Why go through all this trouble to eliminate a handful of isolated refugees? Agreed. I do believe that relay is of Protectorate make, and the refugees most certainly didn't build it themselves. They were likely Protectorate as well. I hypothesize that they used it to listen in on Protectorate communications, then sold what they learned to Sub Rosa. After the Vox relay's recent destruction, High Command would have ordered a security sweep of all communication systems. This outpost's relay would have returned a signal. Upon learning of this camp's existence, they'd have dispatched a sentinel to cross off any would-be traitors. Hence the destruction we bear witness to. Theorized. I knew this was an ex-Protectorate encampment, but wasn't sure it was a Sentinel's doing until this moment. They operate in clandestine ways. Now with that finished, Hold. Some things approach. Be ready. I suspect someone has disapproved of our inquiry. I believe we're at the end of our investigation. The prospect of sharing our findings with the broker isn't terribly appealing, but we've little choice. I will locate my wretched Sub Rosa transport and return to Free Market Station. Pleasure fighting beside you. Be sure you return to Free Market Station to debrief with me. Despite our work here, I somehow doubt the broker would grant an audience to me alone.
How do you do, stranger? Always nice to see a friendly face around Matriarch's Mercy. Though it's a pity I can't lend more aid to our downtrodden collective. I'm just a humble taxidermist. What? And you think that's me? Listen, friend, a little skill with needle and thread does not make me a qualified medical professional. Am I supposed to find that encouraging? Have it your way, then. I know when I'm being voluntold. But you better make it worth my while. Before I agree to anything, I need sprat corpses. Several. And no victims of violence, please. My art depends on the quality of the sleeve. I used to source all of my sprats from a local trapper, Frankie Billings. No idea if she's still in business. Word has it she's out north in Auntie's Choice territory, so watch yourself. Fresh being the operative word. My thanks, stranger.
Victor wasn't exactly the partner in crime I envisioned DeVries to have. Someone with a little more grit. That man back there? Reckon a tough crossword puzzle would have eventually sent him over the edge, even if we hadn't come along. I'm glad we were able to show him a little grace. DeVries obviously manipulated him into acting against his conscience. You ever wonder what might have happened if DeVries had let us in on her initial plan? Surely we wouldn't have been taken in by her rhetoric like Victor. Right? Hotshot Earth Directorate agent swoops in to liberate your colony, sets you on a new exciting path. And you're telling me you wouldn't have been a bit smitten? Good law. I was a kid with a crush, like you said. It wasn't serious. If anything, I wanted to be DeVries. After Triangulum, all I wanted was to do for other colonies what Augustine had done for mine. Still do, if I'm honest. Trying anyway. Thanks for letting me wax for a bit. We can get back to what we were doing now. Unless there was something else you needed. It was less merger and more hostile takeover. I don't have all the details, but it sounds like Spacer's Choice tried to outmaneuver Auntie Cleo through quasi-legal means and got a hell of a lot more than they bargained for. And now her new brand's been turned into an invasion force bent on conquering the entire system. Funny how life works out.
I don't see a lot of new faces in these parts. What are you? Order? Protectorate? Auntie? Really? An Earth Directorate agent? I have no idea what that is, but okay. Me, I'm a Sprat Trapper. Cute little things, but their tallow and hides fetch a high price. Used to be Protectorate, then worked for the Order, then Auntie. Whoever's calling the shots on a given day. Now, I'm just waiting for the dust to settle so I can find out who I work for tomorrow. Gregory? Well, I'm glad to hear he's still kicking. Loyal customer. Very particular about his sprats. These being hard times, I've had to raise my prices. Gal's gotta eat, and I don't care for sprat meat. No, that was me. I was enjoying a bottle a little too much and spilled it. Not to worry, I cleaned off the sprats. Hypothetically, if you happen to be weighed down by a bottle of prestige brandy, I'd be more than happy to take it off your hands. Hey, these are premium sprats. But damn it, I can't have anyone spreading word that my sprats are inferior quality. That'd follow me forever. Go on, take them. And let's just keep this between us.
Any luck with the sprat hunt? Decent quality, all things considered. Frankie's work is second to none. You can tell the good doctor I'll be around shortly, armed with needle and thread, calipers, and my finest jar of glass eyes. Oh, no, thank you. It's always a pleasure to bring passion to one's work, even when that passion is a tad morbid. Be seeing you, Agent.
When I asked the seer for medical specialists, a plumber was not what I had in mind. Trust in the Order to think outside of the box. Take this. On behalf of the Order and the displaced, I thank you. Now, will there be anything else? Thanks to you, our automechanical doctor has been dispensing medication and setting broken limbs with tireless efficiency. A little token of my appreciation for a job well done. Now, will there be anything else? From a medical standpoint, the taxidermist doctor was an unconventional choice. But I can't deny the results. Here, you've earned it. Now, will there be anything else?
Agent, oh, thank good odds and high probabilities you're back. There's been an incident. A rogue faction has taken over the monastery. My seer, Seer Wiley, is trapped up there with other hostages of the Order. To make matters worse, my access code's not working. Without it, I've no way of calling the lift. Peace talks? Yes, Ruth informed me, but how did you learn of them? No one outside a select circle are supposed to be aware they're happening. That's a serious accusation. Why would I do such a thing? Far from it. I celebrate Wiley's gifts. I recognize he's a far superior scholar than I'll ever be. No, I can't discuss this right now. The monastery. The truth is, I held Wiley back. I kept him from advancing for my own selfish gains by spreading lies and false concern over his competence behind his back. But I needed him. I still need him. I'm not the savant he is, never have been. If he'd advanced beyond his current role, my deficiencies would have been made manifest to all. I'm sorry, but we really haven't the time to litigate this issue further. In case I didn't make it clear before, the monastery is currently in jeopardy. Representatives of Auntie's Choice in the Order are meeting to discuss an armistice and possible collaboration. It's an unprecedented opportunity to shorten this war. I know I mentioned it before, but compartmentalization is crucial to the success of most of the Order's operations. I wish I could offer more details than that. But I'm afraid I won't be accompanying you. I can't be sure my presence wouldn't alter the outcome of your efforts in prodigious and unforeseen ways. I have full confidence in your skills. You are an Earth Directorate agent, after all. For myself, I regret to say I'm a peacetime abbot. I was never meant to navigate a war. Once you reach the monastery, make your way to the observatory. If the conspirators are seeking the coordinates of the talks, no doubt their efforts will be concentrated there. Go forth as was determined, and may the plan guide you.
Armed conflicts are not the inevitability you are making them out to be, Anya, but rather the result of a populace failing to adhere to scientism's stoic imperative.
Oh, and I suppose we're going to pretend the second pillar doesn't exist. I must have just imagined reading Alfred Long's 75 thesis on determinism then. I'm aware of the errors of his methodology, but Long's overall opinion is still... Wait, why am I arguing with you about this?
Actually, an outside opinion might be useful at this juncture. Our current topic is whether war is ever justified. For the sake of time, please keep your answer brief.
But what if widespread suffering is already taking place?
Then its causes should be observed, quantified, and a non-violent solution found. You do not extinguish a fire with more flame.
Tell that to the Protectorate.
We're going in circles again. If only we had access to the materials we requested, perhaps we could settle this debate.
Lack of a door, for starters.
You're currently standing outside of an anchor hold. My colleague and I have chosen to permanently enclose ourselves within this cell to lead a life of concentrated purpose. As anchorites of the Order, it is our duty to postulate on the universe's perplexities for the benefit of observers. In this way, we advance the plan through empirical knowledge.
Who's to say we haven't tried?
My colleague is joking. The answer to your question is simple. All anchorites undergo extensive testing before being admitted to such a calling. You might say we are compatible. We observe periods of rest like all living creatures, but otherwise, yes. When in conversation, we welcome all to attend and learn.
We have privacy curtains. It's less trouble than you're making it out to be. Then it's a good thing you're standing on that side of the window, isn't it? I need the book Only Real Numbers, The Casualties of Appeasement by Exemplar Kwong. Second edition, not the first. That's important.
And I require Archivist Mahler's dissertation on de-escalation theory. You should be able to locate both pieces of scholarship in the scriptorium. I'd also caution against borrowing additional titles. The scribes are absolute fusspots when their work goes missing. More or less, Seer Wiley put the question to us last week. Naturally, the problem of interference versus non-interference led us to a broader discussion of war's overall necessity. Oddly, he has not returned for his solution, which is just as well since we remain divided on an answer, though I'm confident we'll get there.
Augustine? Sure. She's got a mind for provocative hypotheticals. Asked a lot more interesting questions than we normally get.
I will add it has been some time since we last saw her. Not since before the schism, in fact. Why do you ask?
Augustine was obsessed with the rift. She wanted to know all the potential routes the Order might take to deal with it. We explained that the rift is an aberration of the plan's natural order, corrupting time and space and creating uncertainty. Consequently, all efforts should be made to close it.
Oh, yeah? And how'd she react?
Well, she hasn't returned, so perhaps she didn't like the answer we gave. Happens more often than you'd think.
Apologies, but gossip doesn't fall under our purview. We've secluded ourselves here to avoid such distractions, so I would thank you to exclude us from any remote drama. I'm sure I have no notion of what you're referring to.
Good for him. About time someone put theory into application.
What my colleague means is Landon Wiley is among our most gifted and dedicated seers. Whatever actions he's taken must be in service of the plan. I do hope no one's been hurt, though. I see. That is distressing to hear. But as we in the Order like to say, the plan actuates by deliberate means. Let us hope this conflict resolves itself soon. You're in luck. I just finished my third reread of it. Chapter 47 is a real treat. When we're finished speaking, I'll put it in the collection drawer, but do take care with it, especially around the bath. We lose more good books that way. Much appreciated. We'll present our final arguments once you've returned with the research.
The stalwart agent arrives. I need more time to finish my work, so I've prepared a choice for you. The hostages in the card press before you will die unless you intervene. If you go through the door on the right, you'll find the means to save them by solving a simple puzzle. Leave through the other door, however, and they will die, screaming in abject terror. But how could you call yourself an Earth Directorate agent if you allowed that to transpire?
As if we'd fall for their stalling tactics just to watch these poor fools die slowly and horribly, mangled like punch cards. What were we talking about again?
The Seer's already proven willing to kill for his cause. I think these folks aren't long for this world if we don't help.
I prefer to kill my enemies first, innocent hostages later.
Seer was right about one thing. We wouldn't be very good Earth Directorate agents if we just left them to die.
Definitely not. We should be the only ones killing hostages around here.
Excellent timing. We're nearly finished reviewing the materials you brought us. Oh, well now, this is unexpected. The arguments in this text seem to have highlighted a teleological flaw I fear my own argument shares.
You too, huh?
Under certain conditions, de-escalation becomes impossible, leading to negative outcomes, including outright annihilation. An annihilated entity cannot advance the plan.
But maybe annihilation itself serves a purpose we're simply unaware of. You were right before. Participating in a war only produces an entropic feedback loop.
I see someone has been reading On the Origin of Sprats. It has that effect on people.
Mental carceration and the potential unreality of conscious experience adds an interesting dimension to the argument. It's certainly worth exploring.
Perhaps later. For now, I feel we should reward our guest with their choice of reward, given the idiosyncratic nature of his conclusion. Armor or weapon? Very well. You can retrieve it from the same drawer where you deposited our research materials. We appreciate your time. if you have a spare 4 hours, feel free to stay and observe our period of silent, sustained reading. Otherwise, until we next confer.
I cannot believe Clemens fell for whatever half-baked argument you managed to cobble together. That imbecile. And Svoboda. I thought her more capable. You may have bested my peers, but they were never my equal anyway. And neither are you. You took so long, I was beginning to think my little puzzle actually stumped you. You seem confused. Allow me to delineate on the totality of your failure. Saving the hostages delayed you just long enough for me to complete my work. I was able to transmit not only the coordinates for the peace talks, but also the station security protocols, giving Augustine control over its automechanicals. She has everything. That's preposterous. In a transparent attempt at sowing discord between us, I haven't the time nor desire to enumerate the failings in your logic. Suffice to say, you misunderstand the basic fundamentals of my objectives. The Order has been dislocated from its ideals, becoming the opposite of all they espouse. De Vries and I are merely providing a necessary realignment. What in the Architect's computational summary are you on about? That hopeless, ineffectual, over-reliant waste of workspace? He wouldn't dare. But I am beyond reproach. My talent without peer. What has Joseph ever done for the Order except occupy my valuable time with useless queries? No, this is some kind of deception. It has to be. I could not have missed such obvious machinations. My math is correct. My math is always correct. How could I have failed to recognize such gaps in my predictions? I checked and triple-checked. What more could I have done? Where did I err? Enough. Please. Your point has been sufficiently made, and I truly lack the capacity to debate you further. I've already sent Augustine everything she needs. But all our communications are on this terminal. It is yours to peruse. Though I cannot say whether the information will be useful. Obviously, my analytical acumen is not what I'd assumed. All I know is that I was never meant to stop you. Now I must send word to my allies here at the monastery to stand down and notify them of my resignation from the Order. Effective immediately.
I have grown worried. I have not received word from Archivist Clemens in some time, and I imagine you would have relayed any pertinent information by now. I fear this bodes ill. Without him, our only option is a direct assault. A risky proposition, to be sure. The last thing any of us want is for our plan to spiral out of control. And so it falls on you to seize back that control. Use the methods we discussed to take command of the monastery. When it is done, I will send further instruction. You have my trust. See that it is not misplaced. I'm much obliged for your tireless work. With this knowledge of Greater Tranquility Substation and its security codes, our plans for the peace talks can finally be spurred into motion. However, without Archivist Clemens and his explosives at our disposal, we've no choice but to proceed with our contingency plan. A direct assault. Though the codes will allow me control of the automechs on the station, we'd best accept now that more lives may be lost than previously assumed. Yet we must act unflinchingly. To fail now would mean the end of everything.
It seems the situation here has been resolved, but I don't see Seer Wiley. Were you able to secure his safety? What? No. But that can't possibly be true. Landon would never align himself against the Order? Against a friend? You must be mistaken. Or maybe his calculations led him astray. Yes, that must be what happened. Indeed, just a small error. Were you able to speak with him? Help him recover his senses? I'm greatly relieved to hear it. Did he mention me at all? I'd rather hope that would not come to light. I gather he did not receive the revelation well. I'm sure you also think me to blame for all of this. But you have to understand my position. How ill-equipped all in the Order are for this new world. With the schism and now the war, the Order stands alone for the first time in its storied history. We have no experience with governance. Well, myself especially. Quite right. No time for wallowing. From this point forward, I will lead by example. Or try to. I suppose there really is no other alternative. I won't keep you any longer. Thank you for your assistance in reclaiming the monastery. Regrettable as the business was. You are welcome to collect the experimental weapon inside the observatory, the Oracle. It was Landon's design. Only seems fitting you take it. This key will unlock the case. May all your future endeavors proceed in accordance to the plan.
The information collected on the peace talks has been verified, Commander. As time is a factor, this unit suggests heading to Greater Tranquility Station as soon as you are able.
Should we consider going in with a plan this time? Or is it going to be another improvised free-for-all?
If DeVries succeeds in killing these delegates, it'll be a hell of a lot more than a PR nightmare to worry about. It'll be war.
Should Agent DeVries succeed, current trajectories suggest a massive spike in civilian deaths throughout Arcadia. Records indicate Greater Tranquility is a derelict station. Consequently, the ideal route to reach the main chamber for the peace talks will be through its underbelly. Be advised. In the absence of Victor and his explosives, Agent DeVries and her team will be committed to a frontal assault. Due to delays incurred while saving the Order hostages, DeVries also has the codes to control the station's security automechanicals, and will assuredly deploy them against you, Commander. Confirmed. Per the Earth Directorate Manual, a team formed of multiple agents is vital to success, especially during missions where agent attrition is likely to occur.
I'm coming with you. Who better to make DeVries pay for Horizon Point than a pair of her own Phantoms? Good. Would have been a shame if DeVries was the reason for us falling out too.
Confirming coordinates for Greater Tranquility Station. Confirmed. Use the astrogator when you are ready to navigate to the station, Commander.
Marisol settling nicely? Well, I assume so. I'm actually a little scared to ask. She's like a character from the Zane and Buddy serials come to life. I mean, the end point? Tell me that don't just scream lead ne'er-do-well in a suspenseful two-parter. Maybe don't tell her I said that, though.
Marisol Delgado has been added to the ship roster and has claimed her quarters. This unit has also been informed by Agent Delgado that she is not to be disturbed while resting unless the ship is on fire, and even then only if it nears my quarters. This unit is available to answer any queries. Which member of the Incognito would you like assessed? Agent Delgado has asked that this unit not provide unauthorized updates on her aptitude or well-being. She instead requests that anyone wishing to form an opinion of her speak with her directly and within striking distance. Agent Delgado has also asked that the following addendum be provided. That last portion was a joke, to some degree. Multiple warnings have been issued to Deputy Agent Leitinger regarding knife safety, and all have gone ignored. Grafts are known to cause pain and discomfort due to dry, flaky skin and restricted blood flow, among other issues. While Trooper Sealong has declined this unit's offer of therapeutic palpation, she has allowed for a humidifier to be installed in her quarters. For now, Trooper Sealong's overall health outcome remains uncertain. Continued monitoring is advised.
I'm all for giving folks a chance, but a cultist, Commander? Really? Skills like a willingness to launch yourself into a rift, you mean? Yeah, very useful. Leaving all else aside, the problem is that we don't know this woman, and she's not giving us much cause to trust her. In fact, I say it's just the opposite. All right, Commander, I'll play nice, but only because you asked. Anyway, need something, Commander? Always up for a little backfence talk, though I'm guessing you don't mean Val. Underneath that friendly old lady facade, Marisol's a killer. Best we not forget that. Future's always changing, though. Who knows? Maybe Marisol will surprise us. In a good way, I mean. Not in a surprise attack kind of way. I hope. I think she'd have a hell of a time passing the Directorate psychological screening. Don't much care for all her talk about disembowelment, neither. Truth be told, I don't know her all that well. Reckon she's unmoored and grabbing for anything that feels like purpose. Same as the rest of us. At least that's what I would say if I was feeling charitable. Most days, I send her out the airlock if it came to a vote.
We going to kill Hierarch Ziegler soon? My knife hand's getting itchy. Who can say? There was no indication that I've seen. I've interacted with him on occasion. Seemed a decent, loyal sort. As interested as I am to hear whatever sorry explanation he has, not sure I'll be able to control my rage when I see him to ask why before I remove his spleen. Maybe I'll start with his gallbladder? No, I think it's gotta be the spleen. Such as? We are simply a group of enlightened individuals seeking to spread the truth of the rifts, despite our persecution by those who seek to keep the masses aimless and distraught. Such as? Nothing of much worth to tell there. I'd rather hear your story. Why would you accuse me of such? I've nothing to hide. Whatever I do now is sanctified, and the specifics of my past are of no merit. The glorious dawn gave me a new life, and wiped away the old. My world used to be devoid of color. Everything was gray. Now everything is vibrant, like the arterial spray of a freshly opened vein. And I'm still not interested in discussing it.
So, you decided the crew needed another cutthroat, did you? I don't mean to criticize the faults in your logic, but you realize Azza is a completely inefficient killer, yes? Well, do admit I've always wanted an understudy. Someone to pass on my vast knowledge of calculated murder and mayhem. But Azza? I'm uncertain she's the right choice to inherit it. However, perhaps you see something I yet haven't, and I should keep looking. I'll need to ponder this further. Do you now? Let's hear it. Sometimes, with purpose. Don't you as well? Do you draw some moral distinction between avenging harm and nipping it in the bud beforehand? Between covert and overt means? When all is said and done, are those in your ledger any less dead than mine? Had a sense you felt that way. We'll see if situations force that to change. Some were proprietary. Often they involved forms of subtle persuasion, others more overt influence. Now and again, more direct means were required. Whatever's on your mind. Oh, I am a dedicated member of the Order. Beyond that, there's really little you or anyone need to hear about. Consider yourself lucky. You already know more about me than anyone else I've met in the last 20-odd years. I see you're not going to let this lie, are you? Fine. Suppose I'll elaborate. Slightly. I mentioned before I was part of the Department of Preemptive Causal Redirection. My role there, you may recall, was head intercessor. I was tasked to influence pivotal events, to keep the solving of the equation on track. Something occurred. I needed to step off the board a while. Dorado appealed to me because it was off the board but not completely remote. There I could lie low for a time, but observe. So I'd believed. Our department was shuttered shortly after Ruth Pissar took office. To avoid undue attention, I remained in hiding. To put it mildly, after the incident in question, seeking refuge seemed prudent. I'm not hearing a question. Another crack like that, and you might just find out. Our department employed a variety of methods to obviate hindrances and threats to the Order's efforts. We were considered wardens of the grand plan, helping correct it when needed. All of us are part of the plan. We follow the path intended for us by the architect. We should, at least. Now and then, some push back against their path, but it never ends well. Corrections can take time, even delay in the solving of the equation. That's where we came in, to get things back on track in the timeliest of manners. May the plan favor us against long odds.
That damn Wiley put us in an impossible situation. I'm glad those hostages can go back to their families, but I fear we played right into DeVries' hands. With that data, she could wreak more havoc than we anticipated. Look, I know the choice is yours on how you want to approach this, but it's my folk in the crosshairs. If something happens to our delegate, I don't know how I'd live with myself. If there's space by your side, I hope you'll call on me. That's all I ask. If we fail to stop DeVries, this will have dire consequences for the war and everything else. So let's not fail, huh? How personal are we talking? Like ain't the word I'd use, even before I was itching to tear up my contract and set it aflame. Auntie gave me autonomy, gave me the choice to do more than just struggle to survive. They treated me better than my last employers did, and despite recent events, I believe in their mission. We can give folk here in Arcadia a better life. What, did you think I was born into it? How else do you grow a corporation to this size without doing outside recruiting? Take a look at what most systems offer, and what Auntie's Choice provides. Do the math. I'm just one of many who welcomed the chance to enlist with open arms. Of course, going from a life lived in squalor to one that rewards you on merit, it would send anyone's mind spinning. Now, do I got qualms with Auntie? Sure. But I'll tell you what, when she overthrew those Spacer's Choice bastards in Tau Ceti, my home system, that takeover was the best thing that ever happened to us, even if it took time to see it. But I reckon that's a tale for another day. That all you wanted to discuss, or... Fine by me? Oh, come on. It's just a hobby. An obvious one at that. I picked up drawing from the grandpa in the domicile next door back in Tau Ceti. When I was a kid, he told me the best way to appreciate nature was to create some of your own and carry it with you. The notion's taken on a bit of a different meaning now with Auntie, but I reckon that Grandpa has the right of it. Want to know a secret? So do I. Don't get me wrong, they've done a lot of good. Modern medicine sure beats slathering plant matter on your wound. But there's something to be said for partnering with nature, not fighting for dominion over it. Vincent, he used to draw posters and ads for Spacer's Choice. He had style. Of course, that didn't last. Age caught up and his hands started failing him. Couldn't draw, couldn't lift heavy objects, could hardly walk without exerting himself. And in Tau Ceti, if you couldn't work, you didn't get ration cards. We shared what we could with him, of course, but what we got already wasn't much. Last day I saw him, he refused the half-salt tuna can I tried to give him. Said it was him lending me his strength. He was gone the next day. We searched all over, then realized he must have wandered off into the wilderness, not wanting to be a burden. We never found him. Can't hardly open a tin without thinking about him now. So if you're wondering why I still hold a candle for Auntie's Choice, after everything, it's because I know had Auntie arrived just 4 months earlier, Vincent might still be alive. Say what you want, but with them, there's always work to be had, a living to be made, regardless of ability. Fine by me? Yeah, figured you might. I want to say up front that I got nothing against you or your crew. Ain't one to judge the firearm by its plating. And so far, you ain't given me reason to doubt your character. But the Earth Directorate itself, it's got much to answer for. The Earth Directorate swore a promise to every colony out there. That if you plead for help, help will come. Maybe not immediately, but you know, maybe sometime this decade. But that's all a heap of shit. You know how many of us in Tau Ceti tried to send messages? And when that didn't work, how we begged the stars for the Earth Directorate to save us? They never responded. Never showed up. Not when I was a child, certainly not by the time Auntie's Choice came around. You ask me, you're selling folk a lie. I know that. I see you doing all you can to help folk. Look, I ain't holding you to account for the Earth Directorate's ills. No more than anyone would hold me to those of Auntie's Choice. We're our own people. No matter how often I'm hit in the face with that fact, with you, with Ethel, it's rather easy to forget at times. But talking through this reminds me. And I appreciate it, Commander. Nor do I. Fine by me? Not great. It was a mining colony under Spacer's Choice. Didn't have much, but my parents worked hard to ensure we had shelter and a warm meal every day. They're good folk. I love them. But I don't think they ever quite grasped how bad things were before Auntie's Choice came. They warned me not to join up, you know. Said we'd all get burned if we put too much stock in the promises of this foreign corporation. But I'd rather take a risk on them than be resigned to how things were. Maybe. Though what I've seen from Auntie's Choice should put my folks' doubts to rest. Right away, I got the offer to enlist and the bonus paid at signing. Our colony was isolated, which meant our Spacer's Choice overlords could do as they saw fit. Everyone lived in squalor, save for a select few. We were little more than workhorses. Those of us at the bottom only found joy with our families, our friends. But love alone can't get you through the toughest, darkest winters. I miss the sunsets, and my folks, though I know they're well taken care of nowadays. But that's about it. Most of my friends joined up when I did, so we took our community with us. Leaving my hometown itself, it was an eager farewell. No, not at all. But I ain't sure my folks oppose them now. They have good jobs and a roof that doesn't leak. The ones who didn't adjust, however, was our management. Some of them tried to cut a deal. Company secrets in exchange for an entry-level administrative role, and made it out okay. But most violently opposed the takeover, and that ain't hypothetical. Reckon a bullet in the gray matter was more palatable than being forced to the bottom rung. Says it all, really.
Greetings again. Hope that little day excursion you and I jawed about is going well. Libations or information? What's your poison?
The encampment had been razed. I'm sorry to say there were no survivors, but I believe we were able to uncover what transpired. I should add, your observations during the investigation were unexpectedly keen. Working beside you was a pleasure.
I'm surprised. Didn't know if you had it in you, especially with an Arbiter in tow. But you got what was needed. Not bad at all. I'd be happy to direct you to the broker. First, though, we've got a small issue. There's a malfunctioning lamp in the basement I need someone to take a look at. Here's a keycard to get you down there. You mind? Sharp. I like it. Thank you kindly.
Anyone had asked me, I had to put the odds of a live Arbiter finding his way into my chambers at 1 in a few trillion. Good that you didn't come here for blood, Arbiter Rao. Barney would have sniffed it out and broken you in twain. And I do disdain mopping up Protectorate corpses. My apologies. Barney is sometimes overzealous in the guarding of my body. Though, when it comes to Protectorate Arbiters, it is perhaps warranted.
If you know who I am, you must know why I'm here. My mentor died under vague circumstances, and I desire any information pertaining to the specifics of her death.
Interesting. That question appears to be at odds with High Command's public statement on the matter. Losing faith in your masters?
No. But I cannot shake the sensation that something was awry with her passing. If you know something, tell me. Please.
I could get used to this kind of groveling. Your instincts are right, Arbiter. Though we don't know the specifics, I received information that your mentor's body bore signs of a fight, and a nasty one. Someone killed her.
I shall in time, when fewer prying ears abound.
If that's all, I think you'd best get along. I prefer not to sully my quarters with Protectorate lackeys. Live ones, anyhow.
And I prefer to limit my time with scheming blackguards. Let us take our leave from present company. Speak to me outside, if you would. There's something I'd care to ask you. The role of the Arbiter typically does not require the assistance of others. We are expected to act as wholly independent entities. But I fully realize that had I not your aid today, my investigation's progress would have stalled and withered. During our investigation, I gauged your trustworthiness and did not find it wanting. What say we travel together? I think you have earned forthrightness. I came to Free Market Station to seek the true killer of my mentor, the Supreme Arbiter. Sub Rosa deals in information, and were thusly my best lead on her killer. They gave me less than I'd hoped, but it was at least a start. Unfortunately, I cannot act truly alone. I have no ship, and no support. My colleagues have accepted that her death was a natural one. Questioning an explanation of that nature is foolish, dangerous even. Nonetheless, the circumstances of her death trouble me. I cannot allow myself to accept the explanation that's been put forth without investigating to the fullest of my abilities. I do not know your allegiance, and accordingly shall not speculate. Suffice it to say, for now, that I fear the true killer is within the Protectorate. I hold my word in highest regard. Were I to pledge allegiance to you, the pact would be nigh unbreakable, barring some extreme action on your part. Utilizing one of our craft for independent purposes would have rendered me conspicuous. I knew Sub Rosa would offer steady transport as long as I paid their exorbitant fees, just as I knew they would collect information on my every movement. But I neither trust them nor have the funds to continue this relationship for much longer. You, on the other hand, have proven to be a capable partner. I will keep to my convictions in any case, but I understand. What instructions would you have me follow? I should have considered this eventuality. I will listen to your words, and I shall follow your orders. I will not assail enemies of the Protectorate without your consent, though I will not like it. But if my sense of duty outpaces my willingness to comply with an order, or if you attack my brethren unprovoked, our relationship will come to an abrupt end. Excellent. I hope our working relationship is most fruitful. I'm sure we shall discover much together.
If you're traveling with this crew, I guarantee you'll be discovering a whole lot more than your little Arbiter brain is prepared for. But I was hoping to peruse the shopkeeper's wares to see what they had with sharp, barbed, or serrated edges. We're all three. Fine, I'm going.
Let us be off, Commander.